that. But you have to realize that, hey, you're looking for factor, then you know that this can be rewritten as a times x minus r sub 1, and then x minus r sub 2, where r sub 1 and r sub 2, both of them are x-intercepts. So what are my x-intercepts here? One of them is -1, another one is 3. So I realize that one of my factors is x plus 1 to have -1 as my answer. The other one is x minus 3, so that I could have plus 3 as my answer. Okay? So those are the two things that which we are looking at. Do I have any one of them? Yes, I do. Choice C becomes the answer, therefore. Okay? All right, guys. So let's look at, that was number 7. Now, as a quick reminder, I'm going to organize the quadratic functions quickly here. Y equals ax squared plus bx, the standard form, right? And then y equals a times x minus h squared plus k. And then y equals a times x minus r sub 1, x minus r sub 2. All right, you have to know these three things because they like to play this game in terms of highlighting particular aspects of the quadratic functions. All right, now, next one that which we're going to be looking at is this then. Okay, what's being highlighted? For the first one, y-intercept is highlighted here. In this case, the vertex is highlighted, and then x-intercepts are highlighted. Okay, so then let me just actually highlight those values for you. Y-intercept is highlighted, which is C is the y-intercept. Vertex is what? H comma K. That's the vertex. X-intercepts are highlighted, which is R sub 1 and R sub 2. So those are the basic things that which you have to look at. When we come back to the quadratic functions, then we're gonna elaborate on these formulas one more time. But I just want you to remember what's being highlighted in each case of equations. Okay. All right. Now that was number 7. Now moving on to number 8. So in case of number 8, as you can see, P over Q is 4/3. What's the value of this? Now, then when you look at it, this is the same thing as 12 times Q over P. Wait a minute, guys. If P over Q is 4/3, what's Q over P? That's a reciprocal. So what I can do is 12 times reciprocal, which is what? 3 over 4. That's what I can do. Can you see that? Then 4 cancels out with 12, gets you 3. So 3 times 3, which becomes 9. So 9 becomes the answer. That's how we can approach this question. All right, let's look at number 9 then. All right, which of the following inequality has a graph in the xy plane for where y is always less than 4? Now, y is always less than 4. Then one thing that I want you to remember is this here, guys. Okay. Never mind. Okay. So somebody asked me. Okay. Got it. So that's fine. Good. All right. It's okay. Somebody thought that I was doing another homework and then gave me the wrong question numbers. But you know what? I think we can still learn from it. So that's why it's good. Now, number 9. One thing that I want to talk about is this. You see the minimum and maximum, right? Minimum and maximum in absolute value and quadratic functions are actually, in both cases, they're important. So let me just give you a quick note on that one and then come back for this question. Min-max. If I have y equals a x minus h squared plus k, and then y is equal to a times absolute value of x minus h and plus k. Look at that, guys. You can see that they look very similar. And then in this case, I have squared, so hence it becomes a parabola. In this case, I have absolute value, hence it's the two lines meeting up at a point. But in both cases, we have something called vertex. You see, vertex is the turning point. Whether it be this way or the other way around, it doesn't matter. That's the vertex. That's the vertex. And you have to realize the vertex is the one that always deals with min-max. You good? So then, what's the vertex on the quadratic function? It's in fact h comma k. Is the value? We've seen that many times. But interestingly, in the absolute value, they share the same point. Vertex is what? H comma k. When you look at the structure, they look about the same. You can see that. So, in fact, in this question, y value is always less than -4. So that means -4 has to be our maximum. -4 has to be our maximum. In case of A, we get to realize that x minus 4 squared. So then in case of first one, our vertex is when x equals 4. And then it's going to go up because it's not equal to, right? And the y has to be less than that. So y has to be less than that. It can be everything from all the way up here below than that. So that's why it's not it. How about the second one? Second one is x, the turning point is when x equals -4. While it's a solid line like this, but y has to be less than that. So as you can see, y values can be greater than -4. So that's why it's out. Third, I'm going to use the blue. So in case of this one, x squared plus 4 would have been from 4, you would have been going up like that. But because of negative sign, it's going to come down here, and then it's going to go down this way. You see this going up, came down this way. And then y has to be less than that. Of course, it's always less than -4. In fact, it has to be a dotted line. All right. So therefore, you guys can see that my answer is choice C. So you have to imagine the graph. And one thing that I'm going to share with you is that whenever they talk about min-max, this is the mini note which we have to think about. Now, number 11. So line in xy plane contains this particular point and slope of this one, which the following lies on the plane. Now, I'm going to give you two different things here. If this one were to be the College Board question, what's going to be happening is we should be able to get the answers graphically. So that's in fact what I would have done. Okay. But this question actually itself is not from College Board, it's from another publisher. But the second thing is we should also know, which is part of our today's lesson in terms of linear functions, we should know how to express the equation of the line using point slope form as well. So we have to look at two different ways. First, I'm going to try to do this one using the graphical method, because graphical method would have been actually quite nice and rather simple in what do you call that? College Board questions. So if I have 3 comma -5, let's say this is 3, then 3 and -5 is around here, let us say. But my slope is 4 over 3, so that means that's the change of x. Top is change of y, as you know, right? So if I move to the right by 3 units, which is 6, I have to go up by 4. I have to go up by 4 units, so it's going to be right up here. 6 and then 1. Up by 4 units, so it will be 6 comma -1. Do I have that? No, I don't. But if I go backwards by 3 units back, then I need to go down by 3 units. So I end up getting go down by what? 4 units actually, right? Go down by 4 units. Oh, which becomes, oh, look at that. 0 comma -9. Which one is it? Choice A. So that's what we could have done. And in fact, that's what I would have done, especially in this if you had to be a what do you call that, College Board question, right? because they designed the questions so that numbers work out nicely. Now, but the thing is this: what if, what if uh, we are doing uh, what am I? Yeah, point slope equation of the line in three different ways, right? That's one way. And then that's the point slope form. This is a slope intercept form. And the last one is the standard. Okay. So in this case, I'm gonna talk about these three lines a bit later. But in this case, the way which we would have done is also, if you want to just do it in an algebraic way, I'll be using these two pieces of information and saying that, hey, y minus -5 get you y plus 5. Slope is equal to 4/3. And then x minus, I believe x value was equal to 3. So x minus 3. So this would have been the equation of the line. And what I would have done is I would have plugged in these four sets of values and see which one works. I know that it takes a long time, but let me just show you A only. When I plug in 0, I should be getting -9. Let's see if that works. So then when I do that, I get what? -4. My left side. When I plug in 0, 4/3 times -3 does get me -4. That works out. So that is a 1 point, right? But if it wasn't that case, then we would have looked at all the other points as well. So that would have been taking longer time. Okay. But of course, graphical. My recommendation is for you to do this one graphical way, especially in the college board questions. You know, they are designed so that the numbers work out nicely. All right, guys. So that was number 11. Now, next set of questions are number 13, 14, 15. 13, 14, 15. All righty, guys. Number 13 is, what is the value of n? Right, which we like to try to figure this one out. This is, in fact, you guys know that this is polynomial division. You know, this one divided by this one gets you this one, and then you try to figure out what to do. Instead of doing that, in fact, did you realize that if I have a polynomial and divide by x minus a can be equal to, one way for you to look at it is quotient q of x plus the remainder over x minus a. That's one way for you to express that, which is what we see over here. Another way for you to express that is this. You have to realize that I can multiply everything by x minus a, then polynomial could have been equal to quotient times x minus a plus remainder. That could be another way of doing it. So then, wait a minute. If that were to be the case, I can rewrite this one as 16x squared plus 28x minus 19 is in fact equal to -4x minus 2. And then nx minus 5. And then minus 29. Then at this point, some of you guys might be thinking, hey, Suak, do you want me to multiply everything out? No, that's not what I meant. I want you to target your multiplication. What do I mean by target multiplication? What I mean by that is this. Where is n involved in? N is involved in getting you x squared by multiplying these two, isn't it? And that is the only way for you to get x squared from the right side, by multiplying nx times 4n -4x. So then, then I know. When I multiply these two, I get -4n x squared. So -4n has to be equal to what? 16. What's the value of n? N has to be the other -4. -4 times -4 becomes 16. Hence, you can get the answer this way. So as you can see, I want you to target your multiplication. That will give you the least amount of work. All right, so that was number 13. Let's look at number 14. So in this case, wait a minute. 5b to the 3a power is equal to 25. So that means if I were to simplify my left side, exponent to another exponent, we gotta multiply them. So 3ab is equal to 25. But what's 25? 25 is 5 squared. So in fact, you can see that 3ab has to be equal to 2. But what am I looking for? I'm looking for 36ab. Did you realize that 36ab is equal to 12 times 3ab? Because 36 divided by 3 gets you 12. But I know that this one is in fact equal to 2, so we get 12 times 2, which is equal to 24. So that's how we can approach number 14. All right. Now, number 15. Number 15 is also a very good question. It relates to what we are about to do today in terms of linear functions. Now, one thing that I'm going to tell you is this. If I have slope, if my slope is a over b, it can be expressed as a over b as it is. Or it can be in fact equal to a over b over 1. Or it can be expressed as 1 over b over a. They are all the same. But why am I expressing in this way? Because first one is in fact telling you as x changes by b units, y changes by a unit. That's what slope is. But how about the other two? Why did I give you this one? Because for the second one, I'll say as x changes not by b, but by what? 1. Then y changes by a over b. That's another way for you to describe the slope. Now, the third one is as y changes by 1, x changes by b over a, reciprocal. So you should understand the slope in this way. And that is something that which we don't usually talk about at school. But we do talk about them in the SAT. Okay? So now, what we're going to be doing is this. Okay, then let's try to look at this question. So number of jargons, J is like Y. And whatever that thing is, that's like X. Now, then in this case, the relationship can be change of J, change of Y over change of X. That means what? Change of J over change of A is equal to what? Negative 3 over 7, or negative 3 over 7 over 1, or 1 over negative 7 over 3. So you could have these three different cases. Let's look at this one. As the decrease of A is 1. Ooh, okay. This first one talks about this one is decreases. Okay, so that means I'm going to bring down the negative sign right over here. As decrease of A of 1 is equivalent to increase, because positive, of 7 over 3. That's perfectly making sense based upon the slope. Now, second one. Increase of 1a, which is what? Oh, same thing here. But increase of 1, that means what? positive 1, then it's been negative 3 over 7, right? Equivalent to decrease of 3 over 7. That's also correct. How about the third one? Decrease of 7 over 3 on A. Oh, this matches exactly with this one, isn't it? It's equivalent to the increase of 1 J. Okay, that's all. All of them make sense here. So therefore, what's our answer here, guys? Our answer is A, 1, 2, and 3, all of them. And once again, the way which you can analyze this one is by putting the slope into these three different ways. And of course, knowing that the negative sign can go either way, on the top or on the bottom. And that's coming from here. Okay? All right. Now, number 20. So here, in the figure above, these triangles are similar. When these two triangles are similar, what do you realize? Yes, their angles are the same. L, M, P, which is this angle, is a right angle, and OP, and this, both of them are right angles. LM is equal to 9, and OP is equal to 6. The ratio is 9 to 6. Okay, we got that. And PN is equal to 8. Ooh, do you set 6, 8? Then ON, what's ON? This is 3, 4, 5 triangle, so this must be 10, isn't it? 6, 8, 10. 3, 4, 5, double, 6, 8, 10. The question is, what is the value of cosine of L? Oh, in order for me to get the value of cosine of L, then many of us are thinking, oh, I need to figure out the line MN and also LN by the similar triangles, but no. Because did you realize that the ratio of the sides are the same and then angles are the same? So therefore, you want me to find out cosine of L? That's in fact equal to cosine of angle NOP. Because why? They're same angles. Because in similar triangles, angles are the same. Now from here, what's the cosine? Cosine is adjacent over hypotenuse, so we get 6 over 10, or you can say 3 over 5. How about that, guys? And that's another way which you can do in terms of sine and cosine. Are you guys good so far? Yeah? All right. So then it wasn't that bad. All right. Then next one that which we're gonna be looking at is we're gonna be looking at the hey, can you guys turn on your videos? A few people who has videos off. Yeah. All righty. So Jacob, your background is actually the picture, right?
Yeah.
Are you actually sitting on the floor at the same time, or no? You actually sitting on a regular chair.
We'll never know. It's
I will never know. That's right.
the secret.
Yeah. Yeah. After all, you might be in the bathroom. Who knows, right? All right. Now, then we're gonna go to right now. We're gonna go to the homework, the volume questions. All right. I want you to take out the homework number 1 from last week, which was on volumes. Let's look at that one first. Okay. All right, guys. So uh, if you have any questions from your homework, please let me know. All right, which is homework number 1. I saw that number 7, 8, 9, 11 are the a set of questions that was requested. 6, 4, and 6 as well. So 4, 6, 7, 8, 9, 11. All righty, let's look at those questions. 4, 6, 7, 8, 9. All right, let's look at number 4 here. It says a cylindrical water tank with a base radius of 4 feet and then height of 6 feet can be filled in 3 hours. Okay, so can be filled in, we're talking about the volume here. You see that, guys? So whatever the volume is, it can be filled in 3 hours. Now, at that rate, how many hours will it take to fill the cylindrical water tank with the base radius of 6 and then height of 8? So then let's try to figure out the volumes. Volume of the cylinder is pi r square h. So for the first one, we get pi. Radius is 4, so we get 4 square times the height, which is equal to 6. So if I were to calculate this one, you will see that's what, 696 is it? 96 pi will get you 3 hours. But volume 2 is what? Pi and then 6 feet. Radius is 6 feet, so 6 square times the height is what? 8 feet. So that's what you could have calculated. Now, in fact, so you can multiply those numbers out, and then uh, what this number is, and then you're gonna compare this result with this one, and figure out how many times it would have been, and then hence we'll be able to calculate the hours. Okay, we can do that. That's perfectly fine. All right. Now, but another thing which you could have done was this. Oh, wait a minute. Another thing which you could have done was, in my case, if I didn't have calculator, this is what I would have done. I'm going to make a ratio. So pi 6, 6, 8 over pi 4, 4, 6. Why do I do that? Because I want to see the number of times that I have to multiply. So that number that I'll be multiplying that by 3. Hence, I'll be able to get the total number of hours. Oh, pi cancels out. 6, one of the 6 cancels out. 4 cancels out with 8, gets you 2. And then 4 cancels out with 2, gets me 2. And 2 cancels out with 6, gets me 3. So this is 3 times of the other one. So it must be 9 hours. So that's what I would have done without the calculator, instead of multiplying everything out. Sometimes when you don't, it gets you better insight. All right, so that was number 4. Number 6. So it says an aquarium has 80 inches and 25 inches of rectangular base, and height is 30 inches. All right. So 25, 80, and then 30 inches. Okay. The aquarium is filled with water to the depth of 20 inches. Right now, it's filled with the depth of 20 inches. If a solid block with a volume of 5,000 cubic inches is completely submerged into the aquarium, by how many inches? Oh, okay, so that means from here something went in. And then, but that was what, 5,000 cubic meters. So it's 5,000, so that means water will rise by a certain amount. In fact, when water rises, you will realize that base area doesn't change. It's still 80 and then 25, but the height will be changed a little bit. So in other words, 80 times 25 times h, this little h, increase in height, is equal to 5,000. Of course, you can do this one with the calculator, but another thing that I would have done is this. If I didn't have calculator, I know that 25 times 4, 25 times 4 gets you 100. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to rewrite this one as 20 times 4 times 25. Why? Because 20 times 4 is equal to 80, but I want to extract 4 so that this becomes 100. Times 2 times 20 becomes 2,000. H equals 5,000. So therefore, H will be equal to a 5 over 2 when you divide. So h is equal to what? 5 over 2 inches. That's it. That's what we can do. Okay, got it. Alrighty, guys. So next one. Uh, Next one is 7. A cube with a side length of 5 inches is painted black on all 6 faces, okay? And then the entire cube is then cut into smaller cubes with side length of 1 inches. Okay. How many small cubes do not have any black paint on them? So in fact, imagine if I have, so this is a 5 by 5 cube, but outer layer will all have uh, paint painted black. So what about the inner layer then? Oh, remember, can you use the inner one that's not being fully painted with any color? Then what would be this dimension? Oh, because whole thing was 5, but I cannot have the rightmost layer, nor leftmost layer. So in fact, this becomes 3. In fact, depth is also 3 as well. Why? Because out of 5 inches of layer, outer inch and then the left inch uh, were painted by black. So I'm going to take that out. And top and bottom is also 3. So what do we get, guys? 3 times 3 times 3, we get what? 27 of them. We're not painted at all. So that was number 7. Alrighty, guys. Let's move on to number 8. Alright, guys. So Yuna finds a box with open top, each side of 8 inches long, and she fills the box with the identical 2 by 2 by 2 cubes. How many of them? So in fact, how many of them will be touching the box? So in fact, when you look at it, so this is somewhat similar because 2 by 2, 2 by 2, 2 by 2 inches. Then how many of them do I have? In fact, I could have 4 of them on the layer here. So I could have 4 layers and 4 layers and 4 layers on top. It could have been filled with the top. But this question is somewhat similar to the earlier one, but the thing is open top. So how many layers? How many things will not be touched the outside layers? Okay. Out of 4, I have to get rid of the outer layer and outer inner layer will be what two rows, and then here's 2 rows as well. But top and bottom is not 2 because I don't have the top sitting on it. So therefore, I just have to get rid of the bottom one. So remaining top is 3 layers. So we get 2 by 2 by 3, which becomes what? Uh, we get what? 2 by 2 by 2 is 12. 12 is not touching the boxes. But how many of them are touching the boxes? So then it's going to be what? 4 by 4 by 4. We get total what? 64. Out of 64, we're going to be taking out what? 12. Because 12 are not touching the box at all. So what we end up getting is 52 becomes our final answer. All right. Now let's move on to number 9. So 3, 4, 5 solid block is mapped up by 1 by 1 by 1. And outside surface of the block is painted black. How many cubes have exactly one face painted black? So then in fact, in this case, So what if I say this is 3, this is 4, and this is 5? So in fact, if I have a cube in the corner, it will be painted black three places: front, behind, and top. But if you're on the middle of the edge, I'll have top and front, two faces. So only thing that will be painted only one face, other one in the middle on that surface. So instead of 3, I have a 1 here, so I only have 1. It doesn't look like it, but only one row. And here, instead of 4, 1 out and 1 out, I have 2. So in fact, I have 2 of 1 by 2. We get what? 2 boxes, front and back. How about here? So out of 5, I'm going to take away each. So it's going to be what? 3. Out of 4, I'm going to take out 2 of them, which becomes 2. So we get total 6. But I have 2 of those, left and right. How about top and bottom? This one is, once again, out of 3, I'm going to take away 2 edges, which gives me 1. And then here, out of 5, I'm going to take away 1 each, so we get 3. So we get total 3. But I got to multiply that by 2, top and bottom. So we get 4, 12, and then 6. So we get 22. Becomes 22, not 20. 22 becomes the final answer. All right, now number 11. So I have a box, like empty box kind of thing. The crate that is 10 and 8, and then 3 inches long, and then the floor, and then the all 4 was not all 1 inch thick. Okay, how many 1-inch cubics can be blocked fit into the crate inside? So in fact, then I just have to look at the inner dimensions here. So here we have, instead of 10, this is 1 inch and 1 inch, so we have 8 inches here. How about here? Instead of 8, now we have 6 inches. But out of 3, I have to only take away 1 instead of 2, like the other sides, because I don't have the top. I only have the bottom. So the height would have been, in fact, equal to 2. So 2 times 6 times 8. So what do we end up getting, guys? We get 96. Would have been the answer. Alrighty. All right. So those answered all the questions from the homework. Now, what we're going to be doing is this. We're just going to do one quick practice here, guys. Okay. So what I'm going to do is this. If you look at practice section from today's exam, right? I need everybody to answer the questions, right? On the Google form. But today what we're going to be doing is we're going to do section 4. Okay, section 4. So when you look at the if you look at today's practice here, it says test 4. Test 4, section 4. And I gave you 10 questions for you guys to do. Is that clear, guys? And then for this one, I'm going to give you just enough time. Okay, 17 minutes. All right. Do the questions that are on the Google form. That's it. All right. Ready? Get set, go. All right, guys. How many of you guys need more time? Can you guys show me your hands or text me? A couple of you guys. Okay, then I'm just gonna give you about 3 more minutes. Okay. All right. All righty, guys. Good job, everybody. All right. So, uh, I can see that this one was a bit, uh, you know, more difficult for many people than other practices. All righty. Okay. Now, can you shoot me a question or questions you want us to look at? How about that on the chatting? All righty. Last two, somebody said, and then 37, 38. That's the last two, right? I guess. And 27, 37, 38. I guess people really didn't like 37 and 38. Okay. Uh, 27, 27, 28, 29. All right. And then 30. So 27 through 30. And then the last two. All right. That's basically what I'm getting here. All right. Let's look at these questions. Okay. So then, All right. So number 27, it says Alfred's favorite drink is 2 parts of lime juice to 5 parts of raspberry soda. So lime juice and then raspberry. So 2 to 5 ratio. Okay. Jenny's favorite drink is 1 part lime juice and then 4 part raspberry soda. So we have two different kind of ratios here. Okay. If Jenny's had a bottle containing 21 ounces and Alfred uh, favorite drink, how many ounces of the raspberry? So Alfred is this one. So Jenny has 21 ounces of these. That's what she has. Then how many ounces of raspberry soda should she add to make her favorite drinks? So then basically what's happening is this. This is 2x and 5x. Add up to be 21. That's how much she has at this point. But obviously that's equal to a 7x equals 21, and then you realize that x equals 3. Since x equals 3, then what she actually has is 3 times 2 is just 6 ounces of lime juice, and then 3 times 5, which is 15. That's the ratio that she has. But what she wants to do is, she likes to add a bit more, so that it will be a ratio of 1 to 4. All right, if the ratio of 1 to 4, then given that lime juice is the same, then I'm going to multiply this one by 6. What do I get? 6 to 24. I need to make 6 to 15 into 6 to 24. How many ounces of the raspberry juice do we need to add? It'll be 9 ounces. So that's the logic that which we can do. Finding out how much Alpha's drinks mixture we have actually in terms of actual ounces, and then convert that into this way. All right, now next. Number 28. So the AB and then BC. Okay. Oh, these are isosceles triangle. What's the value of sine of A? In order for you to find the value of sine of A, what we need to do is we need to figure out the height. Because in an isosceles triangle, the height divides the bottom side into 2 equal parts. This is equal to 7. Oh, 725. What is the height? If you remember, one of the Pythagorean triple is, in fact, 7, 24, 25. If you memorize it, then you get to realize the height is 24 right away. What if you didn't know? Then you would have done 7 squared plus x squared, or should I call it h squared maybe, is equal to 25 squared. That's what we would have done. And we get h squared. That's equal to what? 625 minus 49, because 7 squared. Then what is that equal to? 5, 576, I believe. Well, when you take the square root of 576, then we end up getting. That's right, we end up getting 24. So we get 24 out of 25. So 24 out of 25 is in fact equal to 0.96. So that's what we can do. All right, let's move on to the next question. So number 29, it says Anna opens a bank account with initial deposit of $1,000, and the bank will earn 3% interest compounded annually. So when I read up to here for the first 5 years, so what that means is this. Okay, then we have to use the A is equal to principal times 1 plus R to the what? T power. That's the format. 3% for the first 5 years, then at that point we have 1,000 times 1 plus 0.03, because 3% is 0.03, to the 5th power. That's basically how much money Anna will have at the end of 5 years. After which it will earn 7% interest compounded annually. So from then on, It's a 7% interest. Okay. Which of the following expresses the after t years? Okay. Then if even though we have t, but first 5 years would be subjected to 3%. So after 5 years, so that means what? I'm going to have 1 plus 0.07. And this year is not t, it's going to be t minus 5 because that's the years after first 5 years. So then I'm looking at something like this. What is that equal to? Choice C becomes the answer, therefore. All right. So that's how we can do number 29. Let's go for number 30. Solution A is a 60% acid, and solution B is 40% acid. And then in solving an equation of the following system of equation, gives a number of gallons of solution A is A, and then B is also B, mixture together to produce 100 gallons of solution. That is 55% acid. So that means, of course, we have to, when you add up each individual portions, then it has to be equal to 100. So that tells me that A plus B is equal to 100. But the second thing is this. First equation is all about the total quantities. Second one is because they're talking about a percentage of acid, so we're gonna try to look at the percentage of, amount of acid from each one. First one is 60% acid, so it's gonna be 0.6A. That will give me the amount of acid from the first solution. Second one is what 0.4B because that's the amount of acid that it has from the second one. Combined together will be what 0.55, 55% of 100. That's the amount of acid altogether. So I'm looking for something that has these two. Which one will that be? It looks like A, but not quite because this one forgot to multiply by 100. And oh, it looks like C then. C would have been our answer. Okay, so that's basically what we can do. All right, guys. So that was number 30. Next one that which was asked was number 37 and number 38. So after a ball is dropped, it continues to bounce off the ground. It reaches a height of 128 centimeters after first bounce, and then height of 54 centimeters after its fourth bounce. But the height reaches after each bounce is same fraction. So then, after first time, that's 128. How about the after second? It'll be some sort of fraction. I don't know. So I'm going to call it x times 128. Some fractional portion. After third is another same fractional portion of this, which is x times 128. And then after fourth is now then what? Another x times of these, so we get x cubed of 128 is in fact equal to 54. Then in this way we can figure out the value of x. So what do we get, guys? X cubed is equal to 54 over 128. And what you can do is with the calculator, you can figure out the value of x. Getting 54 over 128, raise the whole thing by 1/3 power. What do you guys end up getting? .75, which is what, 3/4, yeah? But the thing is, we're looking for the after its fifth bounce. So then what we end up getting is fifth will be another 3/4 of that. Then we get 40.5. Then that becomes our answer. That's number 37. How about number 38? then what was the initial height? So in fact, you get to realize that it went up like this way. So 128 was the height after first bounce. Original height, I have no idea, so I'm gonna call it h. So one thing that which you get to realize is from original height h, when you get 3/4, the answer would have been 128. So how do you find the original height? I'm gonna get rid of 3/4 by multiplying by 4/3. Then what do we end up getting, guys? 170.6 or 170.7. Either one would have been the answer. How about that, guys? Is that okay? Yeah? So, that's basically what we could have done. Now, what I'm going to do, oh, okay, I have a couple of comments or questions. Yes, good, good, good. Very nice. Very nice. You've been following along with me. Very nice. All right, guys. So now what we're going to be doing is this. We're going to be, I want you to just look at what we have done today. I'm going to give you about a minute or two at most. Try to look through them. And then today we're gonna talk about some linear functions a little bit, okay? Going back from the beginning and up. All righty, guys. So look at the notes today and then try to review what we have done today so far. I'm going to give you about a minute or two. Alrighty, guys. So today what we're going to be talking about is we're going to talk about the linear functions a little bit. Uh, in fact, linear functions are rather very simple, but yet it does come out a lot, and it is quite interesting that many of us do struggle with linear functions time after time. So let's look at how we can approach the concept of linear functions. First of all, I'm going to start with y equals mx plus b. And in fact, in this case, we should know that slope is, we know that y2 minus y1, we got that, right? And x2 minus x1, that's okay. And b is the y-intercept. That's what we are told to do in the beginning. But as I mentioned earlier, slope and then y-intercept actually has more meaning than just whatever you see. Now, for example, I want you to realize that slope is change of y, vertical axis, over change of x. That concept is very, very, very important. So one of the typical questions that I could have given you in relation to this one would have been something like this. And then here, this is the gasoline, fuel, and this is the distance. You know what? What I'm going to do is I'm going to just give you this one in another one. Sorry. I give you from the graph paper. That might be a bit easier for you to look at. So from here, you have to say x-axis is equal to field, and y-axis is equal to distance. And then I have A, B, C, D. And then first question, which has the highest efficiency in uh, fuel consumption ratio between distance and fuel. Okay, so I have 4 points. And I'll say this one is 10 miles. Each box is 10 miles. I mean the gallons. Each one is gallons. $50 miles. So I'm looking for which one of these 4 points has the highest fuel efficiency. Okay, meaning the distance and then the fuel, ratio between distance and fuel. Okay, all right. So I gave you this question, and at this point, some people's cases, they are busy trying to calculate the slopes, right? That's perfectly fine. You can find the slopes. But the thing is, if you understand what I'm talking about is the slope, then watch this. Many times in the SAT, they're not really focused on calculation per se, but they are focused more on to the what? Reasoning, I told you, right? Then in this case, I understand you can figure out this ratio of, the slopes for every single one of them, which is perfectly fine. But guess what, guys? When I say the ratio between distance to field, that means I'm looking for change of distance over change of field. In other words, that's exactly what the same as a slope, isn't it? So highest slope, that means from the origin. Let me just look at it, guys. Which one of them has highest slope? Is it A or B or C or D? Obviously, the highest slope is what? On A. I don't even have to calculate the values. I can see it right away. So while the slope formula is this, I get that. But understanding what's happening might be even better. Is that clear, guys? That's the idea. Now, second question that I'm going to give you would have been something like this. So that's the next question. A line passes through 6 comma 4 with a slope of 2 over 7. Find the x-intercept. How do you find the x-intercept? Okay, so let me give you this question. I see a couple of you guys working at it right away. A couple of you guys are thinking first. And I don't mind you thinking first because my question is, do I want you to be busy bee and then just keep on working, writing down a whole bunch of equations? You could do that. That's perfectly fine, but you can do a better job. by seeing the core of the question and finding the most effective way. All right? Okay, I have an answer. Okay. In fact, that's the correct answer. Oh, not quite. I think you might have gotten the y-intercept. I'm looking for x-intercept. X-intercept. You see? All right, I'm going to jump in now. Is that okay? So, there are two ways of doing it. First, what I'm going to do is this. I'm going to give you typical way of approaching this one. Typical way of approaching this one. Second, I'm going to try to look at this one in a way that I want you to do more effective and then fitting with the style of College Board SAT. So, the first one is this. Hey, you gave me a point and a slope. I know the equation. Y minus 4 is equal to 2/7 and then x minus 6. Right? And then you want me to get whatchamacallit, x-intercept? I know. X-intercept implies that when y is equal to 0. Got it. I'm going to plug in 0 in place of y. I'm not going to finish it. I'm just going to stop in the middle. 0 minus 4 is equal to 2/7 x minus 6. And then figure out the x value. You could do that. That's one way of doing it. And that is, in fact, pretty good way as well. Now, but second, what am I looking for in the second way? I'm looking for something like this. Imagine my point is 6 comma 4. Since it's a 6 comma 4, what do I realize? Let us say this is 6. And let's say that's equal to 4. But the slope is 2/7. What does that mean? Change of y is equal to 2, while change of x is equal to 7. So I'm looking for x-intercept. And then my slope is positive. So therefore, my line would have been passing through somewhere like this. I don't know, somewhere along that line. Is that clear, guys? But remember, what slope gives us is the ratio between change of x and change of y. And then you can see that, aha, look at this, guys. What's the change of y? That's 4 instead of 2. Then what should be change of x? Instead of 7, it should be 14. You see? Same ratio. So from 6, I need to go back 14 units. What is that? That will be equal to -8. So do you understand what I'm trying to do here? I understand that when we are in school, we weren't encouraged to sketch and then find the answers. I don't do that either at school. But what you call it up for the College Board SAT, this fundamental skill sometimes leads us into the simpler solution. Simple sketching. Simple sketching. Okay. Now, then, let me try to finish the answer from the first method. Because I started, let me just finish the answers. we should be getting the same answer, isn't it? So what do we end up getting, guys? We get, I'm going to multiply everything by 7, so I get negative 28 is equal to 2x and then minus 12. So when I add 12, then I get negative 16 equals 2x, and x equals what? Negative 8. Oh, okay, I can get that correct. But I'm hoping that you will be able to see the difference between first method and then second method. The second method uses the actual sketching. And I'm hoping that you will be able to see that sketching is not any inferior way of doing it, actually. Okay? So now, that's one thing. How the slope is actually applied, that's actually very, very important. Now, second thing, as I told you one more time, interpretation of, oops, interpretation of slope. Okay, interpretation of slope. So slope is equal to what? Hello. Okay. Slope is equal to a over b. Then we have to realize that each one represents a over b, entire thing over 1, or 1 over b over a. You should be able to understand the idea of slope in 4 different ways. I mean 3 different ways. Okay, and then that will definitely help you to analyze questions like that which we talked about earlier. So that's one thing about the slope. Now, as I mentioned about the 3 lines, 3 ways to express equation of a line. It was what? X, y equals mx plus b, which we are most familiar with. Y minus y sub 1 equals slope times x minus x of 1. That's the point slope form. That's because when you have a slope and then a point, x sub 1 comma y sub 1. And then third, I have ax plus by equals c. Now, just want to let you know, whatever the case it is, how do you find the y-intercept? Y-intercept is when x equal to 0. Obvious. How do you find the x-intercept? X-intercept is when y is equal to 0. That is a very, very important concept that I want you to remember in this function. Now, given that, then let me try to go over a couple of questions here with you, and then let's see what happens. Okay? Not this one first, maybe something else. How about this one, guys? Okay, so we have something here. Okay, all right. So first one is not bad. We just have to plug it in, right? And then try to figure things out. That's fine. All right, but I'm getting a little bit different answers. We'll see what happens here. So in this case, if A is equal to 3, what's the value of B? So one thing that which we get to realize is this. I get to realize that, hey, this particular point is -2 comma -2. And this particular point is what? 3 comma 2. Would you agree? So what I can do is I can actually plug them in and then see what happens, right? So I get when a is equal to 3. So when I plug in 3 in place of x, for the first one is 3 times 3, which is 9, plus b is there, but in place of y we have what? 2. So we get 2b is equal to c. Second one, uh, a is equal to 3, so 3 times -2, which becomes what? -6, plus in place of b, y value is -2 as well. Oh, you know what? I'm just going to put down -2b is also equal to c. Now, what they're looking for is b value. How can I get the b value? Then, in order for me to get b value, I have to get rid of c. How can I get rid of that? Maybe I'll subtract it. Then this one becomes 15 plus 4b is equal to 0. So we get 4b is equal to -15, and then b is equal to -15 over 4. So that's what we can do, right? So we get that becomes the answer. How about that? Not bad, right? All right, good. So we're just gonna continue with a couple more questions for us to practice. How about this one, guys? You can use calculator, as you guys can tell in this case. It's much simpler. Yeah, I have one answer. Oh, okay. What is D? Let me just go for. I thought it was an answer, but how about that? Yeah, better. Sorry. Alrighty. So, in this case, what I'm going to do is this. I'm going to use calculator because I can use calculator here. And then, you know what? Numbers are big, so I rather use calculator here, guys. Okay? So, they gave you two garages, and then both of them charges fixed amount plus hourly rate. So basically, what they're telling me is this: they are both y equals mx plus b, and obviously b is the what, fixed amount, and then that's the rate, hourly rate. And then one of them is 2 hours get you this much, another one is 5 hours get you this much. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take out my calculator here, right? And then what I'll be doing is I'll be typing these two things on this stat, edit. That's the list, right? Go up all the way in the clear, not the delete, but clear. Go up, clear. So L1, I'm going to type in X value. So in this case, X values are 2 and 5. 2 and 5. Corresponding Y values will be the amount of money, 153, and then 315. Okay? Now, once you have done this, I'm going to use these set of values to come up with the equation of a line. So go for stat one more time, and this time calculate, and lin reg, meaning linear regression, number 4. X is L1, Y is L2. That's how we set it. We don't have any frequency list. We don't. That's also good. And then calculate. All right. Bam. There it goes. So that's what we end up getting. Then this one tells me that my Y equals A is the slope. So 54x plus 45. That's the rate. But the second street charges $5 less per hour. Oh, that means what? Instead of 54, now we have 49x. And then 10 more dollars for fixed amount plus 55. That's a garage 1. This is garage 2. How about 3 hour appointment? So we're just going to multiply this one by 3. So 49. 49 times 3 plus 55. Let me just write that. That's basically what we're looking at. 202. That's essentially what we end up getting. How about that, guys? Is it okay? So I did get some correct answers, but I thought it would be easy to do using the calculator, and I just wanted to remind you of those. All right, then I have a couple more questions here to go. Let's look at the next one. If you have an answer, shoot it over to me, guys. I have a couple answers. Oh, okay, they're all different. Three answers, all different. Hmm. All right, guys. So then let's try to look at this one in a couple different ways. So first, I'm going to try to do this in a typical way. Even the typical way is a method that we don't really talk about it that much at school. Uh, so first method is this. We need to understand what does it mean by infinitely many solutions. Infinitely many solutions, that implies that we're going to get 0x equals 0. In that case, we're going to get infinitely many solutions. Meaning all the x's has to cancel away, and then all the constants has to cancel away. Then let me try to organize my left side. So that's the first method right now. Okay, I'm gonna use the black ink. So we get 1/2 of that. So we get 3x minus 2 minus 3 minus x. Let me simplify this one. 2x minus 5 is in fact equal to ax plus x plus b. And in that case, what do you realize, guys? All right. Oh, x's has to be the same. So that means 2. Oh, no, never mind. Actually, I made a one silly boo-boo. This one's supposed to be plus, right? Negative sign has to be distributed. So instead of 3x plus x, it becomes 4x here, guys, instead of 2x. So 4, rather, is equal to, that's the coefficient of x. Let's look at the coefficient of x's. A plus 1. That's what we end up getting. So a is equal to what? 3. Let's talk about the constant. Yeah, it was 4x. I made a silly calculation mistake. All right, now let's look at b. B has to be what? -5. That's the only number. Then 3 minus -5. That's what I'm looking at. So we get 8 as the answer. Done. That's my answer. That's one way of doing it. Let me look at this one another way. A minus b. All right. Second one, a minus b. Meaning a is the coefficient of x, and then b is the constant. How can I get a and b surviving? How can I have a by itself from ax? Ah, if x equals 1, notice that I'm going to leave some space here. If x equals 1, then I'm going to get ax plus b. But what they want is a minus b. So if I keep x as 1, then I'm going to get a plus b somehow. But this is a minus b. How am I going to do it? Ah, what if I plug in -1 in place of x? Then I'd be getting -a plus b, which is the negation of what I'm looking for. Okay, I can deal with that because if it's simply the negation, then I can, negate whatever I'm getting and then get my answer. So I'm going to plug in -1 in place of x's all throughout. So I get 1/2, and then that becomes -6 minus 4 minus 3 minus plus 1, right? And then is equal to -a minus 1 plus b. So let me try to calculate all of them here. What do I get? This one is -5, right? And then this one is uh, -4. And I'm going to bring this one over to the other side. Plus 1 is equal to -a plus b. Then I get -8 is equal to -a plus b. Then what am I looking for, guys? A minus b. Oh, that's the negation of that one. I get 8 as the answer as well. So I thought this is kind of, a nice way for you to look at it as well. You know, having the when x equals 1, -1, those are the values that leaves x or coefficients alone by itself. It's actually a powerful tool. We don't talk about it that much in our regular school classes, but it's something very nice. So today I'm gonna stop over here, right? I did put up some homework, and I'll see you next week. And then I think Anthony put up what you call it, some sort of a practice for you guys to do. So keep up the good work. Enjoy your break, guys, and I'll see you next week. Bye.
Thank you.